Feels like she's getting distant from me. Bit of backstory, been together almost a year, things were okay before she moved in. Early yes, but she was doing the things we agreed upon. Not any 50-50 it's partnership year stuff. She doesn't work now since she moved in. I pay all the bills from rent, to groceries, to gas in the cars, which is my car she's driving OFC. Do things like just bring her favorite drink from the gas station without even asking, replace license lamps, puddle lights, gas car up, detail the car and shine the tires before she goes to see parents cause I want them to see she's driving something nice and maintained. She came from a 2011 Focus and I put her in my Lincoln. So here I am doing all of this, and pretty much all I requested she do when she move in is cook or do the dishes. One or the other. Most cooking she has done in 2 months is pasta and spaghetti sauce. I spent $160 plus on groceries a week, about for them to go bad. On top of it all, we used to hang out and watch stuff together on my PC, next to each other. I set up my old one for her so now we're back to back. I am being talked to from behind. Videos we used to watch she now just glances at while I rewind key moments. Talks about her family, which I can't relate to as I'm an orphan so it gets weird. Yes she knows this, yes I've asked to please stop. She'll say okay one last thing. 6 out of 7 days this goes on. And I've even asked her to just roll her chair over and talk to me even if it's about her family shit talk gossip even if I can't relate because I have the bigger desk so I feel like I'm in the conversation if we're next to each other looking at each other and not talking about work in a cubicle with my co-workers behind me. I think the worst part of it all though is going to bed. She'll ask me to come lay down, turn American Dad on or something, turn away from me and scroll on her phone, cocoon up in my comforter, and her little blanket. My cats will sleep on her pillow or next to her. But she will push me away claiming it's too hot to cuddle. So now I'm being pushed away in my own bed BC it's too hot, while she's got 2 giant blankets and 2 long-haired cats on her most likely with a hoodie on. I haven't cheated on her. I did get caught liking a few pics on Facebook months ago but it wasn't purposeful. I react to every post no matter what it is really for more engagement BC I post memes. I caught her sorted talking to 2 guys in June/July and subscribing to men's OnlyFans. She doesn't know it. In the beginning of the first 3 months of the relationship way before she moved in, but she wasn't texting or anything and I don't think she physically cheated from what I saw as she wasn't flirting back but that's past. We don't go anywhere without each other so I know she isn't cheating, but she will not let the 4 like pictures go. I feel like I'm living with a stranger in my own home and I don't even know what happened or why. I feel like a role was played and I'm a sucker. Am I overreacting? I said pretty much all of this to her, and just got reply come lay down deflecting everything I said and then the oh it's always my fault guilt trip thing. When I just want to hang out with my GF. Relationship beyond repair? Love bombed. Overreacting. I don't know what to do. Break up? Story 2. My ex moved on from our breakup after 3 weeks. Feeling defeated. I broke up with my ex of 3+ years after getting tired of asking him to put in effort in our relationship. He was never the type of guy to plan things, and there was a point in time where we hadn't gone on a date that he planned in a whole year. He never looked after our apartment as well, saying he needed to focus on work. We both work hard but have lots of free time. Throughout the years of this detachment, I would call him on the phone crying, begging for anything and he would apologize sincerely but never change. Whenever his group of friends asked him to hang, he would often forget our plans and stand me up. It got to a point where my emotional and physical attraction faded and when he said he really wanted to change, I didn't feel any hope. That's when I knew it was over. It was hard though, as we still were the kind of couple that were best friends, the people that could trust each other with anything, and communicate to fix any issue. When I told him the reasons why I had to end it, he calmly, but quite rudely, explained to me the things he didn't like about me, how I didn't enjoy the same movies he liked, or how he felt like he paid for everything even though my bank statements say otherwise. Afterwards, he asked if this was the end of us and I told him that maybe if we healed separately we could come back to each other again, though, that's definitely not happening anymore after what I know. Fast forward 3 weeks later and he's already in a new relationship with a new girl. He's posting about her all over social media and saying he's in love. Me and my friend group are blocked on everything now, of course. I know I'm the one who lost feelings. I know I'm the one who broke up with him, but I can't help but feel incredibly hurt. Almost like he proved to me that he never actually cared about us. How does someone meet a person and fall in love with them in the span of a couple weeks? right after a breakup. How does he go from "is this over or is there hope for us" to being head over heels, going on dates with a new girl all around town? The bigger part of me doesn't care and knows now that he isn't my person, but the other part of me is hurt in spite of being completely done with him and needs to understand why he would move on so quick. Did those 3+ years mean nothing to him? Has anyone been in a similar situation to this? Comment. How does someone meet a person and fall in love with them in the span of a couple weeks, right after a breakup? How does he go from "is this over or is there hope for us" to being head over heels, going on dates with a new girl all around town? They never truly love you in the first place. You were merely a convenient placeholder until something better came along. Next time, do not accept this from a man. Yet it's safe to say he never cared as much about the relationship as you did, if that helps you deal with it, I guess. I'm sure his new relationship is not really very serious either, and his posts are a combination of honeymoon phase and rebound reaction. He may have just been crying because you hurt his ego. Immediately bolstering your ego by rebounding would be a very predictable course of action if this was the case. The calmly and hurtfully listing your flaws would be too, actually. I never saw the point in waiting some arbitrary amount of time before moving on. The quicker you get back in the dating game, the quicker you have the chance to find a better match than your previous relationship. I got out of a 5-year relationship when I was 23. I spent the next 2 years depressed in bed, barely doing anything besides sleeping and going to work. I just came to a decision to never be that person again and to move on quickly. And it's worked out great ever since. I even met my fiancé 3 weeks after a relationship ended. You feel better when you get out there in the dating game and realize there's all these better options out there. 100% sister. There's a million guys out there who will put in the effort he wouldn't. Going out and finding them will be more productive and make you feel better than mourning the past. Story 3. My boyfriend broke my trust in the beginning of our relationship by kissing his ex, and I can't get over it. What should I do? My boyfriend is in the military. He asked me to be his GF 2 weeks after knowing each other. For some reason I had a feeling I couldn't trust him, mainly because he would talk about his ex. She's also in the military and they work together, so I would always ask him if he would still talk to her and he would always say no. I could tell he still had feelings for her, but I just brushed it off. One day he told me that she cheated on him and got pregnant and had an abortion. A few weeks go by and I was on his phone and I jokingly said, "Let me go through your phone, he just to see his reaction and know if he was hiding anything." He freaked out and grabbed his phone out of my hand, so I said, "We're done. I can't trust you because I know you're hiding something." I was getting ready to leave and he was like, "Okay, there are things in my phone I don't want you to see. There are messages in there asking friends for advice," because I wanted to unlike myself. I still smelled bull, so I was like, "Yeah, okay, what else is there?" Then he sighs and goes, "Okay, you're going to hate me. Remember my ex?" Yeah, when she got pregnant she figured out it was mine. She never had an abortion, she had a miscarriage, and we've been talking the whole time, when he knew he shouldn't have. So I was like, "Okay, let me see the messages then." He refused and said he didn't want to invade her privacy. I told him, "If you don't show me those messages, I am done and you're never seeing me again." He kept saying no, so I left and went back home. 20 minutes later he sends me a screen recording of their convo and it said, "Her, I hate you." Him, "She came to me." Her, "She doesn't do that with people," talking about her 5-year-old kid. Him, "Well, she did with me." Her, "I'm going to bed, I need to process this shit tomorrow. We'll continue the convo tomorrow, I'm sorry." After I read that I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm sure you deleted the rest." So I called my friend and asked him if he could do me a favor. He agreed to doing something petty, so I went to his house and had sex with him and sent my boyfriend, now my ex at that moment, a Snapchat of me having sex with him. Then I blocked him. What I did was awful and over the top, I know that, but I was so hurt after what I saw I couldn't control myself. A few days go by and I'm feeling terrible and need my ex-boyfriend's forgiveness, so I text him and apologize, and he sends me a text saying, "Hey, it's okay, I understand. I was starting to love you and I want to give this another chance." I agree and he comes over in person for the weekend to talk. What I needed to know was if he had sex with his ex or not when he was over there before I even considered getting back together with him. So he comes over and says, "I don't care if I have 2 people in my contact list. I will delete all my social media and delete every female in my phone." So I start going through his phone and find his deleted messages. I find out he never deleted the messages from the screen recording he sent me, and everything else from other girls checked out because he told them he had a girlfriend. I still needed to know if he had sex with his ex he was talking to, so I made him text her and ask when the last time they had sex was. She texted back, 4 to 5 months ago, way before we even knew each other. So things were looking good until he said when I went to her house and her kid came running down the stairs and hugged me. All those feelings for my ex came back. We sat on the couch and she told me she still had feelings for me and I told her I had feelings for her and we kissed. After we pecked, I told her I messed up and thanked her for the alcohol and left. But when he told me he kissed her, I strictly remember he told me they talked and kissed when they were outside at work because she called him over to keep her company, and that's when it happened. I asked him about it again a week later and he said he only kissed her once at her house, so his story changed and that's why it made me feel like he was lying. I kept bringing it up and he said it only happened at her house. Mind you, he went over her place that night to get alcohol and to talk, then drove an hour to come see me and spend the weekend with me. He completely cut her out of his life and every girl he's known. He's done everything to try and gain my trust back. He bought my plane ticket to meet his family 6 hours away in another state and would always talk about marriage with me. 2 days before we were supposed to leave, he breaks up with me and tells me he can't trust me and that it's not going to work. So it shocks me and I try and ask why, and he just keeps saying what I did cut a wound too deep for you to heal from and I'm sorry. I also don't like how I had to cut out everyone in my life and that I can't talk to females without you not trusting me. I tell him that's not true, but he's not having it, so I end up accepting it and he leaves. I call up my friend and he tells me he's going to Florida, so of course I wanted to go after what happened and book my trip for the weekend to forget about everything. While I'm in Florida, my second day, my ex calls me 30 times and leaves me a voicemail by accident. I hear him say I've never regretted anything, but I regret breaking up with her. I was scared about me leaving for deployment for 6 months, knowing how she is not trusting me, basically him talking to his friend about me and regretting what he did. I ignore it so I can enjoy my vacation with my friends. A couple of days go by and he calls me again. I pick up and listen to what he has to say. I let him talk and how bad he wants me back. I tell him, look, actions are louder than words, so he says you should be here with me as planned. I will buy your plane ticket to come be with me and my family right now. I say okay and I leave that night to go see him. I spent 2 weeks with him and his family, his pre-deployment leave BTW, and everything went perfect and I never thought or brought up his ex and what he did the whole time. Now that we're back home, I can't stop thinking about it and wanting to keep talking about what he did. Why is that? I mean, why? I really do want to be with him, but I don't want him breaking up with me again because I know he hates talking about it and bringing up the past. I really do want to keep talking about what he did in the beginning, even though we should be starting fresh. What should I do? Mind you, he leaves for 6 months this month to Japan. I met him in July this year, so we've been together for a few months.